What's happening, y'all? This is Rich Osweiler from PremierGuitar.com at the 2013 NAMM show in Anaheim, California. I'm here at the MI Audio booth out of Sydney, Australia, and I'm talking with Michael Ibrahim, who's going to tell us about not only a new line of, well, they've got a whole batch of new 112 combos and a couple new pedals that they're showing off here at the show. Michael's is going to be kind enough to take us through everything and show us what you got. So, Michael, how's it going?
Rich. Yeah, everything's going well.
Good.
A bit jet lagged, but okay. Yeah.
You're looking fine. So let's see what you got.
Cool. Yep. So we've got 4 new combos. This is our, believe it or not, a single channel combo with 13 knobs and 7 switches.
Wow.
The thinking with this whole line was really to take an updated approach to vintage design. So this is kind of a real kind of Fullerton-inspired amplifier. 4.6 V6s, 412 AX7s, spring reverb and tremolo. So yeah, we'll take you through some of the tones of that.
Okay.
So it starts off clean. Yep. Now one of the interesting things with this is you've got a 4-knob reverb. So you've got the drive for how hard you drive the tank, toe control for the reverb, a wet and a dry control. So you can completely have 100% wet if you want to.
Right on.
So I'll show you that very quickly.
Very nice.
Yep. And you can adjust the tone of the reverb, which is quite cool. So it's a fairly unique kind of reverb, and it's I think that the drive circuitry we've got for it actually sounds quite nice.
Killer.
Yep. Then we've also got the tremolo, which is also a 4-knob tremolo. So you've got the standard rate and depth, but you've also got a shape control to control the waveform, and a level control, because one of the things that happens typically with tremolos is you get a drop in volume when you engage them. So yep. Now, one of the interesting things you can do on this amplifier is you can actually change the order of the reverb and the tremolo.
Okay.
So you can put tremolo first or reverb first. So here we've got the trem first. So you can hear the reverb rings out normally. If I change the order, you'll end up with a chopped reverb, which is quite interesting.
Just with a flip of the switch. Okay.
So it's a quite an interesting feature on that.
Nice.
We've also got a couple of different preamp modes to bump up the gain. Another interesting thing with this amplifier is you've actually got 2 phase inverters in there. So you've got a blackface era long tail pair, and you've also got a tweed era cathodyne, which is a bit dirtier, bit kind of bigger sounding. So you can adjust all that from the amplifier. So it's yeah, quite flexible, anywhere from 30 watts down to about 5 watts. Depending on which power amp mode you choose, you can run it fixed biased or cathode biased.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's this amp.
Killer.
Yep.
All right, Michael, so what do we got up next?
So this is another amp in our range. It's called the Duchess. It's a British-inspired amplifier. Now, as opposed to calling the channels clean and overdrive, we've got vintage and modern. So the vintage is your bridged input dark and bright channel. You can control that here, non-master volume, so real great classic rock tone out of that one. And then when you go over to the overdrive channel, a real fat, greasy, beautiful singing overdrive sound. And then you can squeeze out a little bit more gain if you want to.
Okay. That is greasy, nice.
So yeah, it's got also a switchable effects loop.
Okay.
Some of our other amps as well. We've got the Crystal Lattice, which is a Californian amp.
Okay.
And look up the references on YouTube to understand what Crystal Lattice means.
Right on.
Bit of a silly joke on my part. So one of the interesting things with this is it's got programmable switches for the 4 different modes.
Okay.
So one of the standard issues that you have with this style of amplifier is that the way that you set the switches depends on whether or not you're putting an emphasis on the clean sounds or the overdrive. But this way, by making them programmable, you can actually get the right sound for each mode individually, and then you've got individual level controls for each of the modes.
All right.
And this is our kind of British Liverpool-esque kind of amplifier. 2 independent channels, reverb with tone controls for each channel, 3 power amp modes, and you can assign those to each channel independently. 4 EL84s in that amplifier. Beautiful, big, jangly, clean sounds, and all the way to actually quite high gain sounds as well. So, yeah, so they're the 4 new combos that we have here for the NAMM show 2013.
Nice. And are these all available right now, or soon to be available?
Soon to be available. So
Okay.
they're all going to go into production within the next 6 months.
Right on.
All made in Sydney, Australia.
Cool. Well, thanks, Michael. Let's talk a bit about the 2 new pedals you have here at the show.
Yep, sure.
All right.
So the Crunchbox and the Blues Pro are our 2 most popular pedals. So they've been around now for 8 years. So we've been selling them for 8 years. So we decided to kind of upgrade them and make them add a few more features that I've been working on for a little while. Occasionally we'll do some modification work for people, and these are some of the most popular mods that we have done. Now, both of these actually run internally on 18 volts, so they have a charge pump to take them from 9 volts up to 18, which gives you a little bit more headroom, a bit more of a natural amp sound.
Okay.
With the Crunchbox, we've added a low gain mode so that you can bring the gain down a little bit, make it nicer for rolling back your volume control on the guitar. And we've also added 3 clipping modes as well as made the internal presence control, we made that external. So it gives you a lot more flexibility out of the pedal. So we'll just have a quick listen to that one.
Okay.
So I'll show you now the lower gain mode on that. So really nice dynamics, very sensitive to your picking. You can also choose a different clipper if you want a little bit more gain. So,
Okay.
Yep. And so also very powerful tone controls as well
Nice.
there. Yep. The Super Blues Pro, it's the same basic design as the old, but what we've done is we've added a whole bunch of new features to it. So first thing you've got clipping switches like on the Crunchbox. However, the interesting thing with this is you can actually choose the clippers for each side of the waveform independently.
Okay.
So you can choose between silicon clippers, no clippers at all, or MOSFET. So the silicon is what the standard Blues Pro came with. Beautiful sound. The MOSFETs are really open up the sound of the pedal a lot more. So have a listen to that. Really beautiful, smooth, kind of Robin 40 sorts of tones out of that. So.
All right.
We've got a trim control there, a second gain control, which allows you to, that's got a different sound to this drive control up there. So by balancing those two, you get different sounds. So for example, this is going to be a brighter sort of drive if we turn up the trim and turn down the drive. And then if we turn the trim down and increase the drive, that'll be a darker, fatter sort of sound. Now, if you mix up the clipping controls, you can get some really interesting sounds out of it. For example, if you hit the guitar really hard, we can get a real interesting kind of fuzz sort of tone out of this. So, yeah. Yep. So that's
Nice.
that's the Super Blues Pro. We've also got crossover drive, which will be out in the next 6 months or so, and the lo-fi delay, which is an interesting soundscapey sort of effect, as
Okay.
opposed to it being just a regular kind of echo pedal.
All right.
Yeah,
So
that's
more
kind
for
of
the
cool.
shoegazer crowd out there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. A lot of stuff,
pleasure,
a lot of
Rich.
cool stuff happened with MI Audio.
Cool, thank you.
If folks want to find out more about what we just talked about now and what else is coming up, where do they go?
www.miaudio.com.
Easy enough. All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Rich.
This is Rich Osweiler for PremierGuitar.com, coming to you from the 2013 NAMM show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you won't miss a single segment of what we've been covering this week. Later.